Now departing, the Railway Podcast.
Welcome to the Railway Podcast special broadcast with me, Staffan Sporre.
And me, Ulf Karlsson, and we are on our way home from the FP2 R2DATO final event in Prague, where we have covered the event and now seeks to spread the word from this, could we say, very exciting day.
You could say, and you would be right.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, let's just give a short introduction to who we are. The Swedish Railway Podcast, or Järnvägspodden,
Yes.
has been a service from the Swedish Transport Administration, or Trafikverket, for nearly 10 years now, with the aim to widen the information and knowledge about what's gone on within the Swedish railway sector for everyone in the business. And now we're honored to be a part of the information dissemination from this final event. So could you just give us a short version of what this project is?
Absolutely. The aim of FP2 R2DATO is to take the major opportunity offered by digital and automated up to autonomous train operations, DATO, and develop the next generation autonomous train control. The project seeks to deliver scalable automation in train operations up to GOA 4 by 2030 and to enhance infrastructure capacity on existing rail networks. With a budget of 160 million euros and 76 partners and affiliated entities, this has been a large project that has been going on for 5 years. And now while we are reaching the final event, functional and technical enablers are defined, providing the capabilities to achieve the project's ambitious goals. The FP2 R2DATO consortium has brought together around 600 experts across Europe, working with 48 work packages organized into 6 clusters to produce no less than 202 deliverables that contribute to shape the future of railways.
So there we are.
Yeah.
And this podcast special will be conducted through 5 different episodes of this podcast. In this first episode, we will get the project overview for FP2 R2DATO by some of the leading members of the project. The technology and systems behind this project will be covered in episode 2, and then we'll talk about the Researchers Institute's point of view in episode 3.
Yeah, and after that we want to hear from the suppliers in episode 4. And then finally we will get the infrastructure manager and railway undertaking perspectives.
But as you said, first of all, we welcome Bettina Doetsch and Cedric Gallais to give us the project overview on FP2 R2DATO, caught directly after the closing of day 1.
Welcome to the Railway Podcast, Cedric Gallais and Bettina Doetsch.
We carry a tradition here in the Railway Podcast to let our guests introduce themselves. So Bettina, please, could you introduce yourself?
My name is Bettina Doetsch and I am working for Hitachi Rail in the R2DATO-project. I am the Flagship project manager and I do this with a service contract for Europe's rail, and this was basically a decision of the consortium to have me there and to support the project in order to manage it. I have a background in computer science. I am a bit more than 30 years in the railway business now. I have been having several roles from quality to safety to development, product strategy in this area. And in the Europe's rail environment, I am since 10 years. And it was mentioned today, I was already coordinating something in Shift to Rail, which was called Exterrestry.
Cedric?
Yes, I'm Cedric Gallais. My background is more about mechanical engineering, so a lot of acoustic and vibration, and what are the effects of this signal to the human body. I did a PhD thesis on that, which was very interesting. Then I did a lot of different type of works. I work in US and UK as test engineers on vibration, and I entered SNCF in 2007, where I was a project leader for passenger experience project on research how to manage and improve comfort into trains and to station. I also did some business development for Sistra, which was a subsidiary of SNCF on smart cities. And the last job I did before entering R2DATO was to deploy the Industry 4.0 in our heavy maintenance factory. And I entered R2DATO, which was totally new for me in terms of scope and in terms of people to meet, in terms of context and works to do in April 2024.
And today, June 3rd, first day of the final event is over. How much have you been looking forward to this day?
Yeah, I think a lot, because I think the consortium and all the teams and all the technicians can be very proud of the results we have been achieving in this time. We had, as we have seen today, 7 demonstrators where we demonstrated in the field already the new solutions, the technical enablers, the advanced implementation of automation like GeoA3-4. And I think an event like this is always a good possibility also for the technicians to celebrate the results, to help them to show to the outside what they are doing, the work they are doing, the investments, the enthusiasm they have, the consortium, the collaboration we have achieved, we have heard today between all the different parties. So I think it's always good to celebrate together, to meet the people in the consortium, and to have just an exchange also on the technologies.
Yeah, and I would just add that it's a final event, but it's more like a transition event because the project is not finished. So it's only the wave 1 which is finished. And it was important to have this year to share the achievement, to share what we were really good at, so that we can continue where we are good at for the next wave. And that's also what was the objective of this final event: celebrate and prepare the next wave, prepare the future of the work.
Could you please give us a brief introduction of the project? Like how long has it been running? What are the main targets, basic achievements, so on and so forth?
Okay, the project started in November 2022. So the real project with the kickoff, and in all the year 2022 before, we already met to do the proposal to create the consortium and the consortium agreement, and so to lay out the basis of the work we have been doing, also describing all the activities. Then we started with a kickoff in 2022, and finally the project will close in September after 46 months. And I think September is also an important milestone because we will be at InnoTrans, which is one of the most important fairs, or the most important fair in the railway sector, and we will be able also there to show and to explain our results even to a broader community, because the JU, Europe's Rail, is giving us the opportunity to present part of the results also there to a broader community. And if we look at the main topics we have tackled, I mean, overall we have 20 technical enablers. It's very difficult to look on the highlights because all of them are a building block of a broader system about the future of the railway. We know that the railway is providing the mobility of the future for everybody. We know currently all the problems that are there, challenges with optimization, with capacity. We need capacity increase, and then on the other side we have shortage of people because now you do not have the full availability of the workforces. So for sure all the newer systems like ATO, like automation, like optimized headway, moving block and things like this, they will also help to overcome exactly these shortcomings we have currently.
A system of systems is a phrase that's being heard today.
Yeah, system of system, because we also speak about complexity in the project. So the project is complex in different ways. It's complex because the scope and the very broad scope of technical aspect we need to maintain and to manage in order to make this project possible. Before going to the system of system, what we have done here, it's being able to test each technical bricks into a real environment, and see that we can integrate all these bricks and the bricks works together to produce what we expect in terms of benefit. And in order to define what are the different bricks and the interface between these bricks, you need to define an architecture. And it's where you start to speak about system of system. You have a system which is even within a system, and you need to describe the interfaces between these bricks and the systems, and this need to be standardized. And it's how you are going to make the thing simpler and try to make the cost also reduce, because you are able to have different modularity in the system. You can change a brick and not all the system. So it's better to think about system at system, but this is very difficult to define.
I think we'll get into more of the details, but first of all, I have to ask, R2DATO is a brilliant name. Where did it come from?
I was not here for the definition of the name, so do you remember, Bettina?
So part of the name, the DATO, was already existing because it's the abbreviation of digital automation up to autonomous train operation. and then the R2, so the Railway 2 was added overall. And when we look on all the names, not to go too much into the details, when we look at all the names of all the projects in the innovation pillar, I think at this time some of the project had certain links to the movie environment. Because we have in the innovation pillar 5, we have a project called, I think it's FA5, it's called Transformers. So
Very good.
So, Cedric, why is the area of automation important? Is it because of lowering costs, of safety, of reliability, or is it altogether?
For me, the main criteria is capacity. There is an increased demand of passenger and freight to be transported by rail, but an infrastructure costs a lot of money. So if we're able to manage a signaling system in order to put more train in 1 hour because you put more train in the same space, that would be a good way to increase capacity without the huge amount of investment and space you need also to build a new line. So capacity for me is the first thing. The second thing for me is about staff productivity, and when we speak about remote train operation, it was also explained today that sometimes drivers need to walk 5 kilometers to get to the train in order to put the train to the first station. If you can do that remotely and then after automatically, that also will save some staff productivity. And at the end, for the passengers, everything is working fine, but it needs to have a lot of steps there to be overcome before. It's punctuality, it's reliability, so it's a benefit for the passenger overall. More train that are punctual and resilient.
When we look at the moment also on the shortage of train drivers we have in certain countries, so this is a good step to use then in the end the train drivers for their real job to drive the train, usually in the operational network, and to save their workforce from putting the train from the shunting yard back to the station, forth and back, and losing time basically there, so they can be used more efficiently then.
How would you say that the R2DATO integrates in the overall development strategy of the Europe's Rail joint undertaking and the European Commission in both in the short and long term?
For me, it's fully integrating in the strategies. So on one side, we are working fully on the SERA concept in alignment with the system pillar, so following this, aligning the specifications that we work on this single European railway era, following this, as I said, following the specification, aligning with the system pillar. Then, secondly, standardization is a big point. So the topics we have addressed now, they will find the feedback into the standardization topics in alignment with ERA in the TSI. So there are topics identified, and based on what we did in the demonstration, we will have first feedback loop in order to see where we are, and then we can think about the mobility increase, Green Deal, energy consumption, for example, automation. We have the first good figures on energy consumption, good KPIs showing how we can reduce energy in using the train. So I think overall, in my view, R2DATO is on a good way to follow up on these directions of the European
I think
Commission.
It goes both ways. We follow, but we're also inspired. Because we are in the innovation pillar. Innovation pillar is doing research work for the system pillar that is more dedicated to standardization. We do the standardization, I think, together. So it got both ways. We followed and also inspired what could be the specification.
What is it that has made R2DATO such a complex project?
It's complex. Yeah, you mentioned it. It's because we have a lot of partners. It's difficult to align all the partners to one goal. I think the target can be defined, but when you go over the smaller objective, every company has its own strategy. Sometimes, for the benefit of all, it's quite difficult to align company strategy.
How many partners has there been in the project?
It's 27 partners, but with the affiliate, it's 75, so it's quite a lot of people to align. Yeah. So this, I think, is one of the complexity, is to align on the common goal. The other thing is, as we discussed, that the technology is very broad in terms of things you have to manage to make an autonomous train, both on the infrastructure and on the train. So they need to work together, operators, suppliers, infrastructure managers, trying to find the way to make this work. So it's not so easy also technically. And last, I think, we speak about standardization, which is our main goal. But standardization, we need to define the architecture and what are the bricks and the interfaces between these bricks. And that's also relate to the different strategy of the companies. So defining the architecture is also difficult because sometimes we have different point of view and different interest. So at least these three aspects make it complex.
Is it harder to get the IMs talking to each other, or IM are you supplier, or is it the same complexity, so to speak?
For me, if I look at this, for me everything is driven by common goals, and I think coming from Shift to Rail, entering into Europe's rail, there was maybe also a lot of misunderstandings between the parties because the group was much smaller in Shift to Rail. There was less infrastructure manager railway undertakings, there was more supply industry, and then for sure I can understand that infrastructure managers or railway undertaking are questioning the results a smaller group has getting for standardization. So there was questioning, and then to see then on modular, and then you have, and then it's depending also on ways you work. So modularity against interchangeability, interoperability, things like this. The questions is innovation possible when you detail very much to stay a lot of stay a lot modular. I think what we managed here is that we have meanwhile a very trustful environment, a very trustful consortium where people discuss openly the problems they see. And I think it's independent if they come from the supply industry, from a railway undertaking, or from an infrastructure manager, or from a research or academia. This is what I feel. This is what I get the confirmation from certain partners, that since we started till now, we made exactly this journey where we improved and where the trust in the community has grown. And this is exactly what we need, because doubts people are having, problems people are seeing, they come from somewhere. Usually in former years, we have always been adapting the systems because of safety issues in the field. So a lot regulations in the different countries we have in Europe is coming from safety incidents they had in the field because of systems or whatever regulations not working correctly. So they have adapted it in the country on their needs, and this is then all about trust and all about safety. So, and now to say this regulation maybe a country has taken is not valid anymore is very difficult, because they have a history, because they had an accident. So this is why I believe trust and open discussion on the situation is the most important we can achieve, and I think we came to quite a good point.
How have you been working to ensure that all the experts involved are working towards this common goal? What is the key? What is the secret?
So first of all, I think it is to create an accepted framework. Let's call it accepted framework, because all the people are coming with different skills, different expertise, different ways of working from different companies, because all the companies have their own processes and rules how they do this. So I believe one of the first steps is to have agreed rules of procedure inside the project, with processes, with ways of working, what we do, what we accept, and what you not only install, but what you also execute, and then you continuously improve based on the experiences you have. So I think this is giving first a stable framework for the people to know how they can decide and understand. And then I believe in this, you get so then we have for sure the grant agreement, and then you define common milestones, common goals, common checkpoints, where you work together, where you exchange. You have management boards, like we heard this morning. We have a TCT, which is an expert group exchanging open points and misunderstanding. We had a technical management team checking the deliverables, exchanging, deciding on technical problems we had, and then for me it's about for me, it's about classical project management and escalation procedures when it's not working. That in the end, when you need decisions, that you go back to the company representatives we have, and that they decide in the steering board on how to manage this together.
Well, I think also the partners, they receive some subvention, but they also contribute themselves to the project. And if there is not significant for them to work on the project, well, they will invest on that. So I'm quite sure that if they are in the project, is because they believe that there is an interest for them to go there, and I'm sure they get the proper investment to get where they want to be.
Have you been working with? I've heard many people talking about that the communication in the project has been very well. Have you working somewhat different than in Shift Rail?
For me, this is a very difficult question because when I'm managing a project, I try to establish exactly this environment of an open, transparent. So you have your frame. Yes, there is a frame which has to be respected, and I like to execute this frame. But on the other side, I like to achieve a transparent, open communication, because I believe that this is exactly what we need, and this is the ground where we can exchange, which is feeding innovation, which is feeding creativity, and so on. Because when people openly addressing problems, their ideas, their solutions, this is also helping others maybe to check their own ways. So for sure, there is also closer, and then it's about trust for sure. So when people start to trust each other, they will more openly share and discuss their problems. So for me, it's difficult to. There is other environments, yes, but I always try to create exactly this environment. Okay.
Well, the main word for me is, you mentioned it already, it's trust. When you trust your environment and the people, then you communicate easily. So trust is a base of every communication and project that you can do with partners.
What will be your main takeaways from today?
I like the spirit of the demonstrator presentations. I like the rounds, the discussions, the passion the people were using to explain what has happened, explain the solutions, their willingness to have the groups, but also the participants who were moving around asking questions and so on. I think for me this is one of the takeaways, because this is also needed to improve solutions, to push solutions, to share what we have done. Yeah, this is my takeaway of the day.
I like this, but also I like the roundtable when we are speaking about passengers and what we do is beneficial for the passengers.
What happens after this final event? Wave 1 ends here. There's a wave 2. What will that include?
Well, there are still some deliverables to be delivered. There is a closing project administrative to do, the last technical report of that. So there is a lot of writing to do that. Yes, that's my part. But Wave 2 has already started. So we have DLR that have been chosen to coordinate the Wave 2. And now they are writing the new grant agreement. So it's what I said, it's a transition.
Are there any areas in Wave 2 that wasn't in Wave 1?
I think it's in the majority, it's continuation. But I'm also not fully involved because during the Flagship project management, I was not fully involved in the proposal preparation. I think there is something which is new, which is going into onboard units, looking at some special change requests. They have already been issued in order to advance the TSI, but I think the rest is continuation. I mean, we provide new solutions, new technologies. We need to continue. We have partially implemented topics. They need to continue. This will take further years to stepwise test, and then, I mean, you can also not come just saying, okay, now I have an automated train GOA4. We tested it. Please use it and put a high-speed train going from Paris to Lyon and without a driver. I think this is, and then now we are back to the trust. So also the solutions and the implementations, they need tests, they need further features, they need approval, they need deployment, they need migration and so on. So there is still a lot to be done, and I think this is, they are starting to continue on that. And just to keep up what has been started.
I think we're really struggling to stand up at the moment. Just to finalize this, is there anything else we should add to this to increase the understanding of this project before we hit the stop button?
I don't think about anything, but I'm not able to think too much.
No, I think we have covered the main topics.
A big thanks for taking the time this late afternoon, early evening to join the Railway podcast. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that's all for this episode. Please listen to the following episodes for more in-depth knowledge from this project. In the next episode, you'll hear from the technical side of the project. So until next time, thanks for listening.
You have listened to the Railway Podcast.